Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today inshallah we are going to learn a new lesson about representing rational numbers on the number line. So in 2.1 we studied all about integers. In this lesson we're going to know a new family that's called rational numbers. So number one, we're going to identify what are rational numbers. Number two, we're going to graph and plot them on the number line. Number three, we're going to compare and order rational numbers. Number four, we're going to try to solve some real life applications. Now, vocab words are really important. You guys should, be familiar with the vocab words as they come as a multiple choice or fill in the blank or true or false questions. You need to know the definition of rational numbers, the meaning of negative and positive, the meaning of an opposite, and so on. So let's start with the definition of rational numbers. So what are rational numbers? Let's look here at this, at these types of numbers. So first, we learned about whole numbers. We've been studying them, they're the counting numbers, we call them 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now, until last week, we discovered that on the number line, we have a number line. In the middle goes 0. To the right of the number line, we have the positive numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3. To the left, we have their opposites, negative 3, and so on. So we discovered a new family called integers. So what are integers? They're basically whole numbers and their opposites. Why we call it an opposite? Because, for example, look at 2. It has the same distance away from 0 as negative 2, but they are in opposite directions. So this family is called the integers, positive and negative whole numbers along with the 0. Now, we need to find a place, but we still have, we have so many types of numbers. We have whole numbers, we have fractions, we have decimals, 1.5. Okay, we have mixed numbers, 3.5. So these numbers, we need to find a family for them. So that family is called rational numbers. Okay, so basically rational numbers, they include whole numbers, they include integers, they include decimals, fractions, positive and negative. You're going to tell me, miss, now. So basically the definition of rational number is any number that can be written as a fraction. You're going to tell me, miss, how do we write negative 3 as a fraction? So remember, any whole number, how do you write it as a fraction? You just divide it by 1. And there you go. It's a fraction. Okay? So that's it for the definition of rational numbers. Remember, please remember, as a fraction, in the fraction, the denominator can never be 0. For example, 3 divided by 0, that is undefined. In math, we call this illegal. Okay, so please avoid that. But of course, this is just a tip for you because you will need it in the future. But 0 divided by 3, that's a 0. It works. Okay, but you cannot divide any number in life by 0. 0 can never be in the denominator. It's illegal. It's just undefined. Okay, guys? So let's start with today's topic. So basically what we're going to do, the first idea is you are going to graph. I have this number and I have this number. The first one is a decimal. The second one is a mixed number. We need to plot them on the number line that you see down below. So step number one, look at the interval, the distance between each two whole numbers. Look, the distance between 0 and negative 1. As you can see, it's cut into 10 equal pieces. How do you know? Count, just like you used to do in grade 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Okay? So it's cut into 10 equal pieces. So the same here between negative 1 and negative 2. The distance is also cut into 10 equal pieces. That means my denominator will be 10. Okay? Because we cut the number line, the interval between each two whole numbers according to our denominator. Okay, guys? So now you're going to tell me, miss, but I have here negative 1.6. How do I write this as a mixed number? Well, I believe you studied in grade 5 that, how do you read this one? It's a negative 1 and 6/10. Remember, So that's -1 and 6/10. Okay, so it's basically 6 out of 10. So let's start graphing -1 and 6/10. How you're gonna do this, we look at -1, then I'm going to start counting from -1. So -1, again, you look at the whole is -1. Now I'm gonna start counting 6 steps from -1. So that's 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, and 6/10. It's gonna be here. So that is -1 and 6/10, or you can call it -1.6, because this will be 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and so on. Okay, you took this in previous classes. This is not something new for you. That's it. Now I'm gonna go to the second number, which is -2 and 3/10. The same idea. I'm going to do what now? Start with my whole. What's the whole? -2. So I'm gonna look at -2 and then count 3 places. 1, 2, 3. So there you go. That's my point. -2 and 3/10. Okay. So this is the first example. This is what's required from you. You need to plot or graph the points on the number line. Okay, the number line will be given to you in this lesson. So let's move on. Okay, now we have here, as you can see, another example. We have 0.75 and 2 1/4. Okay, the same idea. Sorry, it's been solved for you. I didn't put an empty number line, but that's okay. Okay, now we have some basic fractions and decimals in math that you guys should be aware of. And instead of doing long division to get that decimal of that fraction, just memorize them. They're basics in math. So you should know that 1/4 is equal to 25 hundredths, or 0.25. That 2/4, it's the same as a half, which is equal to 0.5. You know, think of money. This is like 25 cents. 50 cents, and so on. So what do they represent as fractions and decimals? Next, last one is 0.75, which is equal to 3/4. Okay, so this is 1/4, 2/4, and 3/4. Sorry, I should have flipped that. 3/4 is equal to 0.75. So these fractions and decimals are basics in math. You guys should, it's better for you to memorize them and instead of doing long division. Yeah. Okay, I hope it's clear. Okay, so let's start here. I know that 0.75 is equal to 3/4. And I know that 3/4 is definitely less than 1/2. It's not even a whole. How do you make a whole? You need 4/4 to equal a whole. Okay? Now, as you can see, the number line between each two whole numbers is cut into how many equal parts? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means your denominator will be 4. Okay? The same between 1 and 2. It's cut into 4 equal parts. Now, let's graph. How are we going to do it? So, 0.75 or 75 hundredths, it's the same as 3/4 or 3/4. We're going to start from 0. That's a 1/4, 2/4, and 3/4. That's your point. Okay, guys? That's it. Next, let's go to the second one. 2 and 1/4. 2 and 1/4. So what's your whole? You're going to look at 2, and then you're going to continue counting. Counting where? To the right direction. Why am I going right? Because my numbers are positive. Okay? So you should go to the right direction. Okay, so 2, and that's 1/4. 2 and 1/4, 2 and 2/4, 2 and 3/4, and so on. That's it. That's your point. 2 and 1/4. You put the dot on top of it. You put the fraction or the letter. It depends. Okay, let's do one more example. Okay, so this is a question from the book. They're asking you to write the number positioned at each point. So let's start with point A. Look at point A. Okay, obviously point A, you're gonna have to start counting from 0. But before I do this, guys, listen up. You need to look at the whole numbers. I'm gonna look between 0 and -1. I'm gonna check the interval, the distance between 0 and -1. It's cut into how many equal parts? As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So your denominator will be 4 in all of them. The denominator is going to be 4 in all of them. Okay? So let's start counting. Since we are going to the left side, that means my sign will be negative. So what's after 0? That will be 1/4, -2/4, -3/4, and -4/4. 4/4, it's the same as 1. Okay? So I hope it's clear. So what will be point A? Point A, it's going to be -2 and 2/4, 2/4. That's it. Okay? I'm going to delete what I did to do the second one. Let's go to the second one. Let's go to point B. Now, as you can see, to point B, I'm going to start moving. B is located between which two holes? Between 0 and 1. So we're going to have to go from 0. Start counting again from 0. Let's go. 1/4, 2/4, and 3/4. As you notice that we are moving to the right direction of 0, so numbers to the right are positive. So your number will be 3/4. That's it. Let's move on now to point C. Okay, point C, again, you're going to check C is located between which two whole numbers? -1 and -2. So obviously here, it's not a 0. You have a whole number. The whole number will be -1. So that will be -1, -1 and 1/4, -1 and 2/4, -1 and 3/4. Okay? Let me write it more clearly. It's -1 and 3/4. Okay? So be careful. You start counting according to the first hole that the point is located in between. Okay? So again, you check the point is located between which two whole numbers, and then you start going to the direction of that point. It could be to the left, it could be to the right. Okay, if it's to the right, it's positive. If it is to the left, it's going to be negative. Okay, let's move on. Now here, they're telling you to plot. Plot, guys, it has the same meaning as graph. Plot has the same meaning as graph. We're going to graph the points. So let's start with point P. It's telling you you should graph it at -1 and 1/4. So I can tell that we start looking at the first number. What's the first whole number? -1. So obviously this point is located between -1 and -2. Now I'm just gonna what? I'm just going to count. I'm just gonna start counting. -1, -1 and 1/4. It's gonna be here. That was easy. Because you can tell the distance or the interval, it's cut into 4 equal parts. So you go 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, and so on. Okay? It's going to be negative because you're moving to the left direction. Let's go to point Q. Point Q is located at 0.25. Now we know that 0.25 or 25 hundredths, it's the same as what? This is a basic fraction. We should know it in math. It's the same as 1/4. Okay, so 1/4, it's located between which two whole numbers? It's going to be between 0 and 1. Why 0 and 1? Because obviously 1/4 is way less than 1. Okay, guys? So let's count 0, 1/4. That's it. That was easy. So that's point Q. We're done. Next, let's go at point R. Again, we have a decimal. Let's change it into a fraction. That will be negative 3/4, 3/4. Okay, so we can tell that it is less than a 0. I will remove these. Okay, I'll start counting. So, 3/4 is less than a 0. We're gonna start counting from 0. Okay, let's go. Okay, 0, negative 1/4, negative 2/4, and negative 3/4. That will be my point. It's gonna be located here. I'm gonna call it point R. Okay, that's it. Last one, S at negative 1/4. The same idea. We're going to start, it's less than 1/2. So we're going to start from 0, 0, negative 1/4. It's going to be here. This is point S. Again, this is negative 1/4, negative 2/4, negative 3/4. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I hope this part is clear. Now let's solve one real life application about it. Okay, so we have Mariam is building Popsicle's house. She wants to place the windows between the points. You got the 2 points, you need to circle them. Okay, then what's the question asking you? They're asking you to locate. The meaning of locate here, it's the same meaning as plot. Okay, guys? So we're gonna plot the points. Okay, obviously, the whole number, your mixed numbers, your decimal starts with the whole 6. So this decimal or this mixed number is going to be located between 2 wholes, which are 6 and 7. Okay, so let's just start with negative 6 and 7/10. Let's count. Negative 6 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to be located here. So that's negative 6 and 7/10. Okay, the second one, negative 6.3, it's the same as what? Negative 6 and 3/10. So we're going to locate it 1, 2, 3. It's going to be located here. Okay, it's not that difficult, guys, when you want to graph rational numbers. It's just, counting. But you need to know which whole you should start with. Do you start with 0, moving from 0? Do you start moving from 1, from 2? That's why when you have the decimal and the fraction or the mixed number, you need to check between which 2 wholes it's located, and then you start counting. To the left, negative, to the right, positive. Rational numbers. Okay, let's move on. So here they're telling you why are whole numbers rational numbers? Basically because any whole number you can write it as a fraction. For example, 5, you can write it as 5/1. Negative 8, you can write it as negative 8/1. So yeah, it may sound, a tough question, but it's actually not that difficult. So here they're asking you which could be the value for n. So obviously they're giving you here the denominator is 5. Okay, let's start counting. N is located between 0 and negative 1. Okay, let's check. It's cut into how many equal parts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Obviously, it's cut into 10 equal parts. Your denominator will be 10. You're moving to n in the negative direction, so it's going to be negative. Okay. Okay, let's start counting. That will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the value of n is negative 5/10. Okay, as you can see here, you don't have that fraction. So what do? you need to simplify it. You studied in grade 5 how to simplify such a fraction. How do you do that? You divide with a common factor. You divide both numbers with the same factor. So we know that 10 is a multiple of 5. 5 is a factor of 10. They both are divisible by 5. They both can be easily divided by 5. Short case scenario, they're both in this timetable of 5. So 5 divided by 5, that's a 1. 10 divided by 5, that's a 2. And my sign will be negative. Okay, guys? So the answer will be negative half. Okay. Let's move on now to the second part of our lesson, which is how to compare. How to compare. In order to compare, they should be, this is a basic fact in math. You cannot compare, add, subtract, multiply, or divide if you're dealing with different type of numbers. The numbers should be belonging to the same family. Like I can compare whole numbers together, wholes and decimals. But decimals and fractions can be a bit tricky. So here I have a fraction, here I have a decimal. In order to compare them, I should convert both of them into fractions or change both of them into decimals. Okay, guys? The easiest way here, I always prefer decimals. So 1/10, how do you write it as a decimal? You can do long division, but we all know 1/10, it's the same as what? 0.1. This is a basic that you studied since grade 4. So, and here I'm gonna keep it the same. And now I'm going to compare. How do you compare decimals? You took that in grade 5. You check the place value. You start with the ones, 0, 0. Moving on to the 10th. This is here a 1. This is here a 0. That's your difference. You stop and you compare. 1 is a greater. So 1/10 is a greater than 9/100. Okay? Again, in order to compare, you should convert them all to fractions or all to decimals. They should be, the same family. Let's go on. Let's move on to the second one. Here I have a decimal. It's ready. And I know that 1/4. Now I know what is it. I know this is the same as negative 1.25. Why? Because 1/4 is equal to 0.25. But here I don't have a 0. I have a negative 1. I have a whole. Now let's compare the same way. I check the place values. You got here negative 1 equal. Go to the next one. You got 4, you got 2. So which one will be greater? Obviously 4 is a greater. But you guys, we forgot something really important. What do you notice here? What do you notice? The more negative, both of them are negative. So you think that this 4, you're correct. It's a greater. But which one is the closest to the 0 if you do it on the number line? Negative 1. So, and this is negative 2. Let's make it bigger so I can show you. Negative 1.2, it's going to be here. This is negative 1.2. And negative 1.4, it's going to be here. So which one is closest to the 0? Yeah, that's negative 1.2. That means it's more to the right. That means it should be the greatest. This fraction is the greatest because the more you go to the left, what happens to the numbers? They become smaller. They become, think of temperature. It becomes more freezing. The more negative the number is, the less the value of it. Okay? The lesser the value will be. Okay, guys? So please be careful. If you have 2 negatives here, it's better to use a number line. It could be confusing, but that's okay. You can do it. Okay, let's move on. Now this question, it's called order. The third part of the lesson, order. So the first part was to plot graph. Second one was to compare. Third part, the last part, is to order from least to greatest. Let's start. Very simple. You can use a number line to help you. You will put the 0, of course. And then you're going to start negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and so on. Which one comes first? Obviously, it's negative 6. then negative 9. 8 and 13 are going to be to the right of the to the right side of the number line, to the right side of 0. So now let's compare, guys. Obviously, which one is the smallest? Negative 9, then negative 6, then 8, then 13. So negative 9 will be the least one. It's less than negative 6, less than 8, less than 13. Yeah, you can use the number line. It's a big help. Okay, this is why this lesson is really important, to help you comparing, graphing, ordering. Later on in the next lessons, you are going to graph also on the coordinate plane. So you need to process and understand this lesson. Okay, is it clear? Yes, thank you. I'm sure it's clear. Okay, let's move on. So, okay, here. Now, this is a problem. Look, I got 4/5 and I got a half and I got 2 decimals. So what do? It's confusing. Now, we studied that to change a fraction, the easiest way is to convert them all into decimals. I should make them all what? Decimals. Now, how do I change this one into a decimal? In general, how do you change a fraction into decimal? It's very simple. You use your worst nightmare, long division. Okay, guys? So you're gonna use long division. Always the top goes inside. The top is your numerator, your dividend, and the bottom goes outside. That will be your divisor. So it's 4 divided by 5. So the way you read it, you write it. Okay? So 4 divided by 5. Obviously, 4 divided by 5, it can't happen. So it can't happen. That represents what's number? 0, up and down. Then you subtract 4 minus 0. 4. Now I need to complete my division. I need my decimal. How do you do that? You add a 0 and a decimal point in the dividend, in the quotient. A 0 in the dividend, point in the quotient. Then you bring it down. You got 40. Now you continue your division. 40 divided by 5, that's 8. 8 times 5, 40. And there you go, we're done. It's a 0, 0. This is what we want. So this is negative 0.8. This one is negative 0.5. This is one of the famous fractions. Okay, half. A half, this is how you write it. 0.5 or 0.50. But, the zeros to the right of the decimal, they're, not needed. So why write them? Next, you have 0.25. And now you have negative 0.2. So, yalla, let's order them. Let's start. I'm going to start. You can draw the number line. The number line here will be between 0 and negative 1. Why? Because all the decimals are way less than 0. Okay? Obviously, you're going here with tens. So we're going to cut it into 10 equal parts. So this is... Let's start. 0.2 tenths. 25, it's going to be a little bit closer to it. So let's call this number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 1 is going to be here. 2, it's going to be here. Negative half, that's easy. It's going to be in the middle. Okay, negative 0.8 is going to be here. Close to negative 1. So as you can tell, which one will be the least one? Which one will be the least one? That will be negative 0.8 less than negative 0.5 less than... Oh, sorry guys, I made a mistake. Here the number is positive. It's going to be to the right of 0. It's going to be here, 0.25. It's going to be here. So let's delete that, okay? So, okay, mistakes happen. We learn from them. So that means number 1, it's going to be lesser, negative 0.2, less than, finally, 25 hundredths. That will be the greatest. Or You can do, you guys can go with the comparing decimals using place value. You can check the place value. For example, check this one. I got 0 in all, right? Then I'm gonna go to the 8. I have here 8, 5, and 2. So obviously 8 is a greater, it's gonna be the smallest one. You compare the negatives first and you leave the positive till the end because the positive numbers will always be greater, the greatest. Okay? Yeah, and that's it. Negative 8, then negative 0.5, then negative 0.2, then 2500s. But to be on the safe side, because I know negative and positive could be really confusing, my advice to you guys, use a number line. Okay? What you're gonna use? A number line. It could be really a lifesaver. Okay, how these temperatures are related here? It can tell you that obviously negative 4 is a bit warmer than negative 9. You're still freezing, but you know, negative 4 is like warmer than negative 9. This is the importance of this comparison sentence, this inequality. Yep, that's it. You can check. Oh, by the way, I noticed that there is a mistake in this question. So, yeah, mistakes happen. Ignore it. Okay. Just you can fix it. You can fix it yourself. And we learn from our mistakes. Okay, so that's it for lesson 2.2, how to represent rational numbers on the number line. I hope you guys understand it now, and I hope you can complete the book questions on your own. Yeah, that's it. See you when I see you.